All right,
Are we live?
welcome to the Green and Red Pee Wee game. My name's Jim, and I will be doing the color. And with me is Grand Poobah of the Media Ministry, Brother Robideau, watching this game as he's going to be doing the play-by-play as his son is playing. Red has the ball. I'll recap you in a second.
Looks like number 7 was under center, took that number 1, pitched it to his left. There was a runner on the outside, number 19, carrying
Wesley
the ball
Sharp.
on that play.
So the first drive, Green starts with the ball, and Ryle Gamid went around the left side and housed it. Long TD run on the first drive with John Quello keeping the ball and running in the extra point, putting Green up 8-0. Red with the ball, 2nd and 10 on the 35.
Red leaves the huddle, headed to the line of scrimmage. Coach Monkowski on the field behind them, making sure they're all in their position as they start the day here. Players turning around, looking at their coach, checking to see if they're in the right spot, scooting back and forth. Officials helping out even sometimes, just making sure that they're in the right spot. On the Green side, it looks like they've got Coach Griggs right up there with them. Coaches back away, ref blows his whistle, they're down. There's a long snap to number 50 who runs around to the left side. He's brought down, it looks like behind the line of scrimmage.
That was Kaz McCombs, brought down by Ryle Gamid behind the line. Quarterback keeper to the right.
When they're on the other end of the field, it's a little bit difficult to tell the ball spot, especially in this muddy field today, a little bit wet out there.
And that played a big deal yesterday in both the Pee Wee and Headbuster games, where it's a dewy grass normally, but even exacerbated today by the rain. Yesterday, there was quite a bit of fumbled snaps in the early games as the balls were wet.
Now, these younger leagues, these smaller guys are not cutting as hard. There's not as much weight, but it still plays into it. I have a feeling we might see a few muddy uniforms by the end of the day. All right, here we go. Coach is getting the team into position.
So it looks like your son is playing left tackle.
Number 50 takes a high long snap. Number 13 runs straight into the backfield. Ends up, the ball was pitched to number 1 just in time. He runs around to the left side, gains some yardage there.
Ryle Gamid again coming in early, taking out number 50, Kaz McCombs, but it was a pitch. And just right about the time of contact, they dished the ball off to Jackson Stewart, who ran around the left side. It's 4th and 12, and so in the Pee Wee division there is no kicking, and so they get an automatic punt, which is a 25 or 20 yard. Is it 20 or 25 yards?
I believe it's 20.
20-yard change of field position. So Green will pick the ball up at about their 47.
45. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so it is.
It's listed as 45. You got it right.
10. 1st and 10 here on the 45. Green team in the huddle with their coaches. Walking to the line of scrimmage now. Maybe a little less energy than some of these earlier days of football camp. I don't know if it's the early morning or if it's the fact that it's Thursday. Here we are. We've got number 13, number 67 in the backfield. Number 67 takes a direct long snap, runs around to the right-hand side. Lots of open space. Number 50 comes out there, shoves him out of bounds right near the 45-yard line on the other side of the field.
That's Bryson Rougeau on the carry to the right. Number 67 for Green. I was kind of blocked by the scaffolding here. Did you see who made the push out?
50. Number 50 made the push out for number Red.
That's Braxton Untermarn. Oh, I'm sorry, for Red.
Kaz McCombs.
That's Kaz McCombs again.
I know we were hearing that name McCombs earlier, yesterday on the other field. There were some good plays. I assume an older brother.
There are McCombs everywhere, I think. No, one of the McCombs that I called yesterday, I think he's on Burgundy. Tall guy. It looks like he's on.
Don't mix up the Combs and the McCombs. The Combs are spelled O-O.
Right.
And then we've got the McCombs, different. I don't know if we've got any Combs here on this roster. And here we go. Green is leaving the huddle, walking back to the line of scrimmage. In the backfield, we've got number 67, number 13. Last time we had a direct snap to number 67. It's always interesting to watch these long snaps at these younger levels here. Oh, there we go. That was a good snap. Number 67 takes it direct, runs around to the left-hand side. Good block by number 30, but number 19 gets around him, almost tackles him, but number 67 continues on down the field. He's in open space, and there he goes all the way to the goal line.
Touchdown run for Bryson Rougeau.
Last time he went right, this time he went left.
42-yard scamper.
Good blocks early on. Those referees look like they're having fun out there.
That will put Green up 14-0 with the extra point pending. Looking at my rosters here for JV, I found a Caleb McCombs, number 10. Caleb McCombs, number 10. I'm just double checking here.
There we go.
Must be the brother of Kaz. He is a tall, spindly guy. He's also his legs are long. I'm a little jealous of the length of his legs, if not the fact. Does look like he skips leg day though. But he is fast and he is energetic. Before every game, he is in the huddle and just riling up the team. If that guy's called to preach, he will be an evangelist.
All right, Green again coming up for the 2-point conversion it looks like they're going for here. So we've got number 13 back to take the snap this time. Nope. Is that number 8 or number 9? Number 9 ran the ball in right through the center. Green number 9.
That would be John Quello with the 2-point conversion, so it is 16-0. Josiah Griggs, head coach of the Green team. Of course, the Griggs family has got a strong presence, kind of legendary here at Man Camp. He has this team well prepped and well coached.
Now this is his first year coaching, right? He was player last year.
I believe so. Yes, and they barely lost their first game in double overtime, and then yesterday do we know the end that they won their game yesterday?
And man, I don't remember at the lower levels. I'm sorry. They were on the other team, on the other field yesterday. Yeah, Coach Griggs. I don't remember how many children. I know they've got another child on the way. I don't know if that's going to be another addition to football camp down the road. We'll see. But Coach Griggs is pastor's about an hour away from here. In fact, my wife was in their Sunday evening services this last week. Stopped in there. Coach Monkowski is not too far away either. Quincy. All right. Got these players at the line of scrimmage again. These coaches manipulating them, moving them around into the right positions. Got number 50 in the backfield for Red.
Wesley Sharp, number 19 in the backfield with him. It's a pitch to Sharp. Ball's on the ground.
Number 1 has it, coming around the left side, trying to look for an opening, but decided to go all the way around to the edge. Brought down, it looks like, by, is that number 30, Green?
That would be Hideki Hori bringing him down, and it was Jackson Stewart picking up the ball and making something out of nothing when the ball's on the ground.
Great, great.
Hideki Hori had a fantastic score in the game. I think it was yesterday. Snap went to him, and he just bowled his way in, broke several tackles to get a score.
And there we are at the end of the first quarter. It's good to see these coaches getting playing time for all of these players. You know, just you see them running in and out throughout the game.
You were speaking of the services earlier, your wife going to the service of the nearby pastor, and I think it's important to mention that Man Camp is really far more than a football camp. I originally hesitated to even come to Man Camp. I love football just tremendously, but you know, ministry has to take precedence. When I discovered that this was really Man Camp and football was used as a tool to teach, not just on the playing field, but in the services, that's what sold me on coming to Man Camp. And the services were great. Last night, Brother Coral preached, and as always, Brother Coral just gave scripture after scripture, really driving some key points home.
Just a message on urgency, ultimately. You know, the problem with putting things off and not making that right decision now and what that can lead to in the future.
God will not strive a man's spirit forever, and talking about not presuming that you're going to have another day.
And it's not just salvation, but all these other decisions too. These young men have the opportunity to sit under this preaching, have the Holy Spirit work in their hearts and their lives here, and I hope they don't despise that. I hope they don't look down on it and put it off for another day. I don't want to lift this place up too much, but you're not going to come into opportunities like this, environments like this, preaching like this, men of God around you to help and encourage you in the right direction very many times in your life.
There is an intensity to football camp, which I really love in our soft society. It's not just about being spiritual, but it's about being spiritual men and being tough and being able to maybe even just endure the schedule here. I love that they have a nap time in the afternoon, especially at the younger levels. That's because the services can get long. They have 3 services, starting off with a 6 a.m. power service, just to get us started. We came from that to go before going to breakfast and before coming here. And then they have a lunch chapel and then an after dinner chapel, as well as devotions and huddle times. I'll talk a little bit more about huddle times in a little bit. We have Red coming up to the line of scrimmage.
All right, there's the hike. Number 50 takes the snap, hands it off to number 1, who then reverses hands to number 19, runs around the right side, evades a tackle.
Ball's on the ground.
Brought down by number 67. The ball slips out. Number 50 picks it up, starts to get a few extra yards, and then is tackled by number 9 in the end to finally close out that play.
Wesley Sharp took the reverse. There was a handoff to the left. Wesley Sharp came back to the right, took it fairly quickly, ran to the outside. Ball on the ground, and I missed who picked it up. Was it number 50? Was it Kaz?
Yes, it was.
Kaz McCombs, again, picking up alertly and then advancing it a little bit farther.
And then finally the play ended with number 9, John Coelho, bringing down the number 50 player there.
That's going to be a first down for Red. It's good to see them getting their offense moving. Red's coming into line. Number 50 in short shotgun. That's Kaz McCombs. Flanked on either side by Jackson Stewart on the right and Wesley Sharp on the left. It's a handoff, and John Coelho is in the backfield, not quite intercepting the handoff, but tying up the quarterback and preventing it from being passed off. Great play by John Coelho as he got in the backfield quick. I was looking at the offensive backfield there. I didn't see where exactly he was lined up in the defense. I'll try to pick that up a little bit more on the next play. Again, you at home probably have a better view than us. A shout out to the media team here. I might be part of calling the game, but there is an army of people that are supplying all sorts of technical assistance to get this up. 2 cameras on each field plus a drone shot, and it being switched back and forth. Oftentimes you'll have a better view than me, so I'll apologize in advance if I get something wrong here. So Hayden Newman is going out, being replaced by Benjamin Rosales. He's on the right side of the quarterback, Kaz McCombs. Whistle on the play. We're waiting to see what the call is there. It doesn't look like there was a penalty. That might have been just a procedural thing. It's going to end up being 2nd and 12, so really no change from that whistle. Ball's on the ground. Kaz McCombs tries to make something out of it, but the tackle is made quickly by Ryle Gammond, and it looks like Shane Walton. I could be dyslexic seeing my numbers there. That might have been Asa Wilson. Asa Wilson's 34. Shane Walton, 43. One of them made a great play. Red's in the huddle. It was interesting. You'll see coaches on the field, and if this is the first man camp football game you have watched, there's just so much that goes into teaching football, and this is such a young group, and it's so compressed in time that at the lower levels, even later in the week, the coaches are allowed on the field to give them coaching and adjusting them. Josiah Griggs was adjusting just before the snap.
There's a high snap to number 50, who hands off to number 1, who hands off to number 19, who runs around the right side, brought down by number 36, Green.
That was Wesley Sharp, and 36 came from the right defensive side. This was a play to the right offensive side, and he basically didn't quite get to the handoff, but just chased him down. Good play by Noah Bridge, just chasing him down and making it on the outside.
That was 4th down. It looks like they're doing their punt move. I don't know what you call that. They're doing their
free 20
false
yards.
punt, fake punt, whatever.
We'll call it a free punt.
There we go,
free
punt.
punt.
There you go. 20 yards might be
20 yards is not a lot, but at this level, there's no way they could kick it that far.
No, it's definitely graceful for them.
And this is one of the things that, again, it's a little bit different than the modern NFL game here. At the lower levels, especially with limited practice time, running is far more prevalent, and you will see a lot of running, and that makes the field position so important. So 20 yards of field position is actually a big deal. I've seen numbers and numbers of drives where they go all the way down the field and it gets stalled with inside the 10, and a little bit of better field position at the start of the drive would have resulted in a score.
You mentioned earlier having these coaches on the field, and really, truly, this whole week at these levels, Pee Wee, Headbusters, etc., it truly is coaching and preparing them for the next level. You'll see as we progress through the different leagues here in the day, you're going to see the level of play, steps up with each league. And a lot of that is because these players, they come back the next year. Here we go, both teams at the line of scrimmage, in the backfield. Looks like we've got number 13, number 30, Green. Looks like the snap is coming to number 30. It ended up right between the two of them, dropped on the ground. Number 30 picks it up again, runs around the right side, trying to outrun number 27, who ends up holding on to him, kind of wrapped him up, making a few more yards, but swings him to the ground eventually, about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Yeah, that's what I saw from Hideki on his touchdown run yesterday. He's not a big kid, even at this level compared to the other ones out there, but he has a lot of leg drive. He was wrapped up and should have gone down 5 yards earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and he just kept on driving through and driving through. I always root for kids like that are a little bit undersized, but you would never know that they're undersized by the way they play. Love that fearless attitude.
You gotta love to push through adversity too. Did you see that ball hit the ground, bounce up, picks it up, runs? Like, these kids aren't giving up just because the ball hits the ground or because something difficult happens in the play.
Well, it's definitely a good heads-up play, good awareness. That's actually goes back to coaching as well, where a lot of times the ball hits the ground, kids will stand around not knowing what to do. Having that individual initiative is important.
There we go. The center is in his position. Both teams at the line of scrimmage. Number 13 back. Number 67 moving over to the left side here. There's the snap to number 30. Runs to his left, trying to make it inside. Has some wide open space.
Give it to Hideki.
We've got two red defenders hot on his trail, but I think he's open all the way. And there it is at the goal line. Touchdown, Green.
Hideki showing surprising speed. There's a flag on the ground.
Uh-oh.
I am going to be sad if this comes back because I enjoyed that run.
An exciting play. It was right in front of us here in our...
Kaz McCombs was doing his best to chase him down. He just couldn't quite get him before he got to the house. We have a green coach in front of us. What just happened on that play? What's the penalty call? Did you see?
I would say that is the most bogus call I've ever seen in my life. All right.
Jay Griggs.
Clearly understood.
Jay Griggs is being negative, but he's trying to help his brother Josiah Griggs out, right? Son.
But he'll take that as a compliment, though.
You look so young, brother.
I think that young man on the ground had every right to hold the other young man's leg. Okay.
I think he was probably trying to help him out.
I think your old age explains your crotchetiness, and I just want to tip my cap to you.
Still early, really.
There we go. It looks like Green is heading off the field for a moment. Maybe it's the timeout. I didn't see.
Well, I appreciated Dad looking out for his son.
20 seconds left on the clock before the halftime. Oh, and in there it runs down. It looks like we're going to halftime.
That'll be a 16-0 lead for Green. Green's looking good.
Green probably disappointed they didn't get their third touchdown there,
Yeah.
but what can you do?
Well, Green started with ball, which means Red will have it at the start of the next half here. We're going to have a short break on the broadcast as we have the halftime break.
And here we are back at the start of the second half. Both teams are on the field at the line of scrimmage. And there is the hike to Red number 50. He runs around to the right side, spotted by number 36 there, and wrapped up with a great leg tackle, brought down right at the 34-yard line. It looks like that's where that's going to be spotted. It's a cool, misty morning here for this first game of the day. And here the coaches are getting them right back onto the line of scrimmage. They're down. There's the hike, number 50, a little to his left, passes it to number 1, reverses it to number 19, but he is wrapped up in the backfield quickly by number 9, and number 13 jumps on the pile. I think he actually kind of jumped on the player's shoulders to help get him down there. I don't think I've ever seen a tackle like that. It looked more like a pro wrestling move.
I'm sure the coaches will talk about his tackling form. You were mentioning coaching earlier, and again, with this being just a week-long camp, a lot of times the coaches the coaching input they get for this week is not just for this week, it's for next year, it's the year after that, as they grow in their football knowledge.
The goal is to keep all these young men playing. And of course there are a few men on the sideline here. They're going to be back in the game later, I'm sure. But that's where these lower leagues ended up coming from. You know, it started out with just varsity. Then they said, we're going to have a JV for the other players, you know, that aren't getting as much playing time. And then it descended from there. It's like these players are coming up to the line of scrimmage. Coach Monkowski making sure that his players are where they need to be. Sometimes just pulling them into place.
I'm trying to figure out the green defense here, and it really looks like it's coming down to an
pitch back from number 1 to number 19, running around the left side. Number 9
nice
is
stiff arm, nice
right
stiff
there
arm.
trying to get at him. Oh, second stiff arm. Two players stiff arm nicely by number 19 as he makes it around the right side. Looks like he's about 4 yards shy of the first down.
That's Wesley Sharp with a great run. He really did a lot of that work himself.
Made up some yardage after that loss in the last play.
So it's going to be
Probably 5 yards.
they're calling it 4th and 4. 4th and 4.
These referees having fun out there with these little guys.
As I was saying, trying to figure out the Green's defense, and it looks like earlier in earlier games, they were doing like a 3-3 stack, and that's not uncommon in the Green coaching tree. I've seen that on a couple levels in Green where they have 3 down linemen and 3 linebackers directly behind them. But this is more of a 7-3-1, where there's a seven-man front, maybe two cornerbacks, one linebacker are kind of interchangeable there, with one safety in the back.
Number 1 takes the snap, pitches to number 19, who runs around the left side, gets all the way to the edge before he is
I think
knocked
he got
out
it
at the first down marker. First down.
Another good run by Wesley Sharp.
I was saying earlier, though, that it started out with just that first league and kind of drop down, so that these players continue to get more playing time. And right now they've got 5 leagues that they're using, and they talked about if there were players even at this league, you know, having some pre-games to get more playing time for these sideline players here. And
yes.
Here they are at the line of scrimmage again. There's the snap, long snap to number 50, who picks it up low, tries to run through the center, and gets brought down by number 13 and number 9 on green.
That's Raul Gamid and John Quello. Kaz there didn't have a lot of opportunity to react. The ball was a little short and a little bit looped on the snap. So all he could really do is reach forward and catch it before he was swarmed down. So you were saying about the leagues, and honestly, they might need to add a 6th. Just this is the largest football camp ever. And it is the largest Christian football camp in the country. I have heard people say it's the largest football camp in the country. I can't prove that, but it just looks like it's only getting larger. And we love to have the kids have playtime. So if we might need to expand next year.
I personally attended the camp here back in, I want to say 99, 2000, in that era. And those of you that are watching on video can't see me. Here, the red team is at the line of scrimmage. Green also getting set. Number 1 back for the snap. There it is. He picks it up, runs to the right. Right through the line of scrimmage is the defender, number 13, who wraps him up and keeps him from moving forward for a slight loss there.
Raul Gamid has been a force on defense. He's getting some coaching from Josiah Griggs, the head coach for Green.
I just had to way down.
Red in the huddle with it being 3rd down and 15. Loss on that play. Ball on the 40. Obviously they need a score here to get back into the game. There's some talk between the green and red coaches there. I don't know what's going on there. So Red's being coached in the huddle. Coming up to the line of scrimmage now. So Jackson Stewart's at quarterback with Kaz McCombs behind him. Nope. Tough break. I got that wrong. Kaz McCombs was actually in front of the quarterback there, or in the quarterback position. The snap was wide to the right, and it was covered by Green, number 13 again. Ryle Gamid has been a force. He's basically lining up on the defensive left at the end of the line, and he is just breaking through. He's shown he's had the speed to chase down to the other side, but he is definitely breaking up any kind of plays up the middle or to the offensive right. We have 1st and 10 for Green. 55 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. It winding down. I don't know if we'll get another playoff.
So
we got a sub here for Red. Josiah Pierce and Jason Rivera coming off. Getting some water. Green's offense approaching the line of scrimmage, 23 seconds left.
Here we are at the line of scrimmage. In the backfield, we've got number 13, Green. Number
Red applying a defense. Every single person's on the line. Green drops the snap and is brought down for a loss to end the 3rd quarter.
There we are. This game seems to be moving quickly. I was going to mention, though, that with these young men, you know, it really is a unique dynamic. Seeing guys as young as 10 years old sitting here in the same services with these varsity players, these big guys sitting right next to these little peewees, and really there's a great, you know, I see them treating them like little brothers in most cases, you know, just helping them out when they're having trouble tying their shoes or getting their pads on or whatever, you know, the issue is. It's neat seeing them together.
And I think that extends to the coaches as well. The huddle times they have here, it's about 7 players to 1 pastor there, where they can sit down and basically talk about anything, any questions they have. Just having more, sometimes kids even of this age, the pastor doesn't even know the name of the child in their church because they're only 10, say. And they're just having the opportunity to be able to spend some time not only with each other and with the older kids, but with the pastors. Christianity is definitely a multi-generational fellowship.
If it isn't, we're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Christianity is always one generation away from extinction. But as far as, I think God's design is for the older to help coach the younger, not just in football, but in life. The hoar head, the white head, is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness.
I think it's neat even for the pastors that come here too. It helps us to redirect and focus on some of the young people under our care, let's just say. And they do a really good job in the orientation with these coaches and staff here at directing them to pray with these young men at the altar and to be coaches and help them and really just turning their focus to the development spiritually of these young men. And not just this week, but throughout the year as well.
Well, and it's very encouraging as well. It's not just that you learn and you grow as pastors and as leaders, but it's just encouraging to be around other men.
It is this. You could say this is a pastor's fellowship, in a way. It's also a pastor's preaching meeting because, you know, just as these young men are getting preached at, the pastors, missionaries, evangelists, assistant pastors.
I mentioned Brother Coral's message last night. I'd like to say something about Brother Grimaldi's message in the morning. We'll do that after the play here as Dean and Red are coming up to the line of scrimmage.
We are number 50, the center. There's a snap to, it's on the ground, picked up by, I think it is recovered by number 1, Red.
start. Ball was on the ground for a long time, almost picked up, and then not.
Number one leaned over to pick it up, and it rolled a little further between his legs. He had to turn around and then jump on it.
Again, I'm going to say that was a snap issue, and it's all.
I'm sure it is, yeah. Games, they have ball covered, help keep it a little drier and whatnot.
Well, yeah, it was raining yesterday, and it was wrapped to try to keep it dry in between plays, but it's just hard to protect it from the dew.
Right now it's not misting even like it was earlier, but I'm sure there's plenty of moisture on that ground.
So I was talking to one of the coaches, and Red's approaching the line of scrimmage, so I'll share that after this play.
Although sometimes we never know how long it's going to take for the play to start with these guys.
Yes, but we don't want to get caught here.
No.
Green is employing their press defense again.
And the ball snapped. Number 13 running through the center there.
Yeah, that was Timothy Robideau with the ball. He was held up and was whistled dead. And then number 13 for Green, Raul Gamad, pulled the ball away and started running with it. But I believe the play was whistled dead before that change of possession. He was stacked up and kind of helpless there. Good play by Riley or Ryle, was it?
Robideau, that name sounds familiar.
Robideau has just been a force out there. Drive blocking, unstoppable.
I should look on Facebook and see, but this is the game where all the mothers come out to watch their sons play and what. And let me just assure you, mothers, these young men are being taken care of. These coaches are looking after them. I know it's a tough thing for mothers to send their boys to football camp, but not only is it good for them, but they are in good hands as well. Here we are at the line of scrimmage. Players are down, looking for the snap. I don't have a great view of what's happening here. Looks like there's a pile up.
I think that was Jackson Stewart. And I'm thinking he picked up a handful of yards there. We'll call it a gain of 4, getting him back to the original line of scrimmage, or a gain of 5 to get him back. Should be 3rd down and 10. Scoreboard showing 3rd and 1. I think that should be 3rd and 10. So moms, let me encourage you. My wife was always concerned about my son getting hurt. It's okay for them to go through some tough experiences. Not always win. If your son is on a losing side in one of the games, I don't want you to feel bad for him. A lot of times, a great character is going to be taught during that time. Learn to fight through adversity. And I love the coaches' care for them. Just one obvious way it's just seen on the field is their call for water. Every time there's a break, the coaches are screaming for water, telling the kids to get water. That's so important. You wouldn't think you would have to tell kids to hydrate, but you really do. And for some of these kids, this is the most activity. It is a compressed week. So this is the most activity they had in a while. And it's almost like your body just runs on water, like it's the gasoline for your body. We're constantly trying to get water into these kids.
There's a snap. Number 50 hands it off to number 1 running around the left side. He's in open space. Number 9 trying to pick him up, but he cuts around inside again and is brought down by multiple Green players, number 76 and number 70 in on that tackle.
So Jackson Stewart had the edge for a moment, and although John Quello is not going to get credit for a tackle on that play, he made that play by,
for sure. Yeah.
He took the outside and forced him to cut back in. That outside containment, one of the key fundamentals in football. I always say that the inside is where your friends are. So you want to force the play back inside. That's what John did, and that made the play. As there was a swarm of Green waiting for Jackson as he cut back in.
Love watching these little guys run to the line of scrimmage. Sometimes holding up their pants as they run up there, just so excited about their playing.
I should mention that was a really good run that netted Red a first down. So now they have the ball on the 46.
4 minutes and 20 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Handed off, number 1. Number 19 has it, tripped up in the backfield. Who's that made that tackle?
I'm trying to see. I'm looking.
13.
Number 13,
Yes,
that
we've
would
seen
be
him in that.
Ryle Gammon. Maybe we should just guess that because he is involved in so many.
He's making some great plays out there. We got some shout outs, some cheering on Facebook from some of these parents. We got someone cheering for number 29 Green there.
That would be Chase Millard.
He has made some good tackles in there.
Let me just apologize to the parents watching at home. If I am butchering your son's name, understand that there are a
It's on
lot of
purpose.
kids here. It's not on purpose. That's right. There
Oh,
are-
and there's a high snap, goes right over the head of number 50, who tries to pick it up, and instead number 76 grabs it, turns to look at his coach to see what to do, then turns around and runs down the field. He's made it to the goal line.
that would be
The third touchdown for Green.
Lydian Cayley for Green, showing surprising speed. He looked like one of the big guys, as it were, but he ran away and kept his lead to make it to the end zone.
You got to understand the football knowledge of some of these younger guys, and some have more knowledge than others, of course. But they don't know the intricate details of the rules for the most part. And so he sees it on the ground, he picks it up, and he looks over at his coach like, "What do I do here?" And I didn't see what the coach did exactly, but he turned right around and started running the right direction.
Well, it's a strange situation to think of, but that was maybe the first time that had ever happened to him in his entire life.
Exactly.
It was a brand new
They
experience.
probably
Picking
don't
up a
practice
fumble.
that in practice.
No, they probably don't. So getting back to butchering your children's names, understand that it took a lot of work just for me to get the numbered rosters so that I could even call out and see who these people are. And with so many people in camp, I don't have a pronunciation guide. I am guessing sometimes.
We've got someone cheering here for Green, number 34, Asa Wilson, as well. Looks like there are lots of mothers, lots of family members on here cheering for their, I almost said sons and daughters, their sons out here on the field.
Well, and I would encourage you to let other people know about the broadcast. I get that we are not perfect and we're not completely professional. It's not an NFL broadcast that you're watching here. But again, we're doing the best we can, and we're always trying to make the media team better because we know that's your connection to the kids. You can't be here at camp with them necessarily, but we want to make it an enjoyable experience for you. And again, 2 cameras, drone feed, switching, replays, graphics of the kids coming up on screen. There's a lot of effort being put in by a lot of people to try to make this better, and it's always a surprise when I tell people about
They're
that.
down at the line of scrimmage, and here's the snap. Snap is good. Number 13 takes the ball, gets wrapped up. Number 1 pulls him. Man, did he pass it off to someone else? It looked like number 1 pulled him down. No.
That
Made it
was
through.
for the
Made it
extra.
through.
That was for the extra point, and the try is good. So that'll make it 24-0 with 2:10 left in the fourth quarter.
Our goal here is to give you a little bit of a window into what happens at the camp. Not only when it comes to football, it's easy for family to worry about injuries or those sorts of things. We want people to see how the care that's used, that their kids are okay, etc., and also just the fun that they're having as well. I hope that we kind of give some insight into the fun that we're having as well as we're watching this, even just watching these young men run around the field.
Well, I said on the broadcast yesterday that football was God's sport, and if I offended anybody, I apologize. But I am a football camp announcer, so I must love football, and it's quite enjoyable, especially as each level, I should say, has its own enjoyment. As we were watching the kids grow and learn there's a lot of fun and some interesting things that happen. But there was some really good football and football games.
I don't know if you heard that, but we have an ambient mic out here down by the field, and we have some coaches running by, and it's just, again, insight into the fun here. These coaches are running by, yelling at other coaches, having fun, and it's a great spirit here at football camp all around.
I just saw 76 for Green. That was Lydian or Idian Cayley giving a high five to Chuck Schwartz, one of the referees. I don't know if Chuck was congratulating him for his long touchdown rumble or if he was just trying to get on the referee's good side there.
It's good to see Coach Greg's mother here on the live stream also cheering for her son, coaching this team as well.
Coach Greg's mother, I want to apologize for calling your husband his brother, but he just looks so young. What am I going to do?
Say that about Mrs. Griggs.
I'm sure that's the case. However, I don't have a pitcher, so.
There we go. Whoa, whoa.
Loop snap, very, very high snap that hung in the air and came down. From our angle, we couldn't even see who was in the backfield on that, but looks like that's going to be a short loss. Waited for the snap.
1 minute 45 seconds left in this fourth quarter.
We'll call it a 1 yard loss. So on green, we've been talking a lot about the head coach, Josiah Griggs. I should mention that the offensive and defensive coordinator is David Bridge, not Griggs, David Bridge. And he's out there. Yeah, I just saw him coaching John Quello, playing in the safety
There's
position.
the snap, another high snap, but
So what we're trying to do there is take the shotgun snap, and a lot of times they'll do the shotgun snap simply because it's harder it's actually easier to receive a shotgun snap than it is an under center snap at this level. And then they hand off to the two backs in the backfield in pro set, one back wanting in run direction and then quickly reversing back. And Green is staying home on that. We'll give some coaching props to Griggs there, letting them know that he's obviously told his ends to be contained and look for that reverse.
there's the snap to number 50. Takes it himself, runs around the right side, gets to the edge, past his, knocked out of bounds, right about the 41, 42 yard line, it looks like.
That was a good run by Kaz McCombs.
Explain to me how you mentioned that at this level, the shotgun snap is easier for them than the under center snap. What makes that easier?
So at 10 or 12, they're used to catching a ball. They're used to throwing a ball, at least on some level. And these are not hard throws, and it's not a long distance. You might think of a 10 or 12-year-old having difficulty catching a 40-yard pass. Sure, that makes sense. But these are essentially, it's essentially a 5-yard pass. Yeah. And if you were playing with your kid in your living room, you could toss the ball back and forth at 5 yards just endlessly, and they would always connect. But under center, it's a very different motion. The quarterback can't pull out early. The center has to be crisp with it. It's just something that's new to them, and with limited practice time. Sometimes I've seen a couple teams here they're starting off in under center, but they have trouble with the snaps. They move the shotgun.
Interesting.
And
I would not have intuitively thought of it that way.
Well, I've actually seen that at the pro level, where an NFL quarterback we'll stop for this play.
There's a snap to number 50, looking
a
to
pass
to his left. Number
He's
one
got number
catches the
one.
ball, runs around to the outside, wrapped up early. Good awareness. Is that number 13? I can't. No,
That's number 30, Hideki Hori.
Good awareness of number 30 there. He was being blocked by someone, but when he saw number one run to his side, he turns away from who he was being blocked by and wraps him up right away. And then there was the assist by number 9 on that tackle as well.
Yeah, John Quello came over from the safety position to clean that up.
It was a good end to the game. And here we have it, Green 24, Red 0 at the end of Thursday's Pee Wee game.
Come back in a little bit for the Headbusters. We will have Green and Red on this field for Headbusters in about 15 minutes.
Green and red all day long. We'll see you in just a moment. We're muted up here. I forgot to ask you when you're going to end it, but does that work for you? Wait, I'm going to go grab a jacket actually from that. It's a little chillier than.
Sure thing.
All right, any thoughts from that game? Anything need to be changed up or anything you prefer? Or?
No, I think it went very similar to how I called it with my son.